Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Today's class is just looking at the new lines. If anything has changed, I'm hoping to understand if Jefferson from Arkansas, is he playing? Is Dylan from Oklahoma playing against Texas? And we can see that usually by the lines. It is early, but Vegas opens around 7, so I waited till a little after 10 to try to get the, Vegas Saturday morning lines because those are pretty important. Last night, I hit the Houston-Memphis over somehow. The score's like 20-7 going into the fourth quarter. I'm like, I need 51. I was going to lock it. I didn't lock it. I don't know why I didn't lock it. I guess because it was Friday night, so I don't lock it. And then all of a sudden, Memphis scores. Houston runs the kickoff back 100 yards, gets everybody excited. They score 2 more touchdowns. They end up winning the game 33-32 or 32-31. I think it's 33-32. We get the over. See, here's where, because it was 57, we only needed 51, and you had 2 explosive teams, Houston and Memphis, although for the first 3 quarters, Houston only had 7 points. And then the floodgates open in the fourth quarter. So we got the win there. We lost the San Jose State Vegas game. I had Vegas in 13. Basically a B versus a B. San Jose State has a good defense. Their offense is okay, but it's nothing that really scared me. Their defense was good, but again, they hadn't really played a lot. A lot of big offensive teams. They beat I think Eastern Michigan or something, but nothing earth-shaking. And the quarterback gets hurt for Vegas, of course, Brumfeld. So we end up losing 40-7. That's what gets you is the quarterback. And the ironic part is sometimes I'll bet against the team and the quarterback gets hurt and they bring in the other guy and I get hurt like at Frisco and Lance gets hurt and I bet it because of Lance and then he gets hurt. And you're like, shit. So here Vegas's quarterback gets hurt. Nothing you can do. So we go 1-1 yesterday. Now what I do, I had Vegas in a teaser. I don't remember who. I got so many games this week that I then re-teased the teaser with whoever they were with my other 25 games. I've added a lock last night. I was watching film of highlights of another game. So I go on YouTube and there's like these 15, 20 minute, and they walk through the game with you. And I was watching a game and I go, wow, this team's unbelievable. So I locked this team with another, I think with a pro. But anyway, that's what you get out of the highlights. And I knew they had a good coach. And, but when they killed this team, I'm like, Jesus. Okay. So let's get on to the lines. So this is refreshed. Now I'm just going to do scores and odds as opposed to Las Vegas Insider because I found such different dimensions that I really just want to see the basic line. Like for Arkansas, is he out? The line was 8. I think it went up to 9 would lead to tell me he's out. And if he's out, I can't play the game over. Now maybe I take Mississippi State if he's out, but I don't know how good the backup is. So it ends up where he had a head injury, Jefferson. Okay, so let's go through this. I got Maryland -3, 59.5. Basically, no big change. It was 3.5 down to 3 anyway. Louisville 1, 48.5. Excuse me. We're getting cold here in Michigan. All right. Sorry. So Louisville 1, 48.5. Went from 3 down to 1 and 51 to 48.5. That tells me there's an injury on Louisville. I think the quarterback might be hurt or doubtful. Michigan 22.5, 59. up from 21.5, and it was 58.5, 59 anyway. So that didn't go. Indiana, I've seen, has some hurt wide receivers that were questionable. Maybe that's why. Interesting spot for Michigan here. They really don't throw the ball very well. They run it. They're going to run it down Indiana's throat. The question is, how good is their defense? And against Maryland, they didn't show really good defense. Against Iowa, you can't really say because it was basically 20-7 with a minute left in the game, and then Iowa gets this late touchdown. They just tore through them. So I don't know how strong Michigan's defense is at this point. So let's watch. I don't like their quarterback at all. I don't think he reads defenses very well. Ohio State's going to light him up. I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting to bet Ohio State over Michigan. They are pissed about that. Buffalo 2 over Bowling Green, 254.5. That has not moved. It moved to Bowling Green favored for a couple days ago. Buffalo's back to 2. Bowling Green's got a really good quarterback. The question is he playing or not? And 54.5. Kansas, TCU 7.5 and 68.5, up from 67.5. Now on Las Vegas Insider, it goes 67.5 to 69. So if you are looking for a 67.5 there, you should be able to find one, or maybe a 68. Again, these lines move. So 7.5. I've been on Kansas every week. They score a lot of points. TCU scores a lot of points. Look for a high-scoring game here, I think. Missouri, Florida. Florida 11:54, and that's really where it was. It was up to 11.5 and 55 to 54. I don't know how Missouri will act. They got sky high for Georgia. They played them very well. They almost won the game, 26-22. Will they be flat, or will they go, hey, we just played with Georgia? Florida doesn't scare me. I would never take Florida laying 5 in this game. Questions, I don't know how strong Missouri is offensively, but this is probably a low-scoring game, I would think. Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, a battle of the Michigans. Western's is now up to 6 from 4 and 54.5, down from 57.5. Now, the weather's fine. It's cold, but it's not raining here. The weather shouldn't be an issue. Western's a couple hours away from me. Eastern's really close to me. I got Eastern as an over team and Western as a kind of an E team, but they give up like 28 a game. So they score 25-28. Eastern scores about 30 and gives up 30. The whole MAC defense, each team's defense basically gives up over 30 points except for Toledo. And it's funny, it's ironic because they gave up 70 to Ohio State. So you have no defense, probably an over. So I'm really confused why the over went down to 54. I'll have to check the injuries there, but this looks like an easy over. You've got over teams playing, and, like the Houston-Memphis, I was shocked the over-under was 57. I'm looking Houston over, Memphis over with an E defense, but we know, Houston's capable of putting up a big number. But it just shows you how, like, they ran the kickoff back 100 yards. All of a sudden, they scored 3 touchdowns. All of a sudden, they win the game. They're down like 27-7. I mean, they're not going to win the game. They're scoring 7 points, and we're in the fourth quarter. You're like, Jesus! But then it's kickoff return, 100 yards, touchdown, 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. And they win the game 33-30. I couldn't believe I won because I'm thinking, geez, where's Houston today? But it just shows you how emotional it is. And they run the kickoff back. And that's why I'm sitting there, why these idiots go on these 4th downs. 4th and 1, and you don't make it. It's not just you didn't make it. It's emotional. the other team gets fired up. You basically go for it and you don't make it, you basically lose the game because the other team gets sky high. The defense gets sky high. And you basically have just lost the game by going for it on fourth down. It's disrespectful. It's it deflates your team. So your team's like, oh shit, we didn't get it. The other team's sky high going, you guys thought you could get a yard on us. We'll show you. And then you're done the rest of the game. So there's a lot more to this than this analytic crap that it doesn't work. I don't know why coaches use it, and coaches that use it should keep getting fired. This is why you got so many fired coaches. The Jacksonville coach kept using it, the one before Urban Meyer, and he'd use it and he'd keep going for two and not making it and losing games. And at the end of the day, nobody wants to see a losing team. The coach gets fired because there's no fans showing up. So that's the problem with it. Okay. Tennessee 3 over LSU, total from 62 to 64. We know Tennessee can score. We know LSU has a good defense. I have Tennessee as an A team and LSU as a B team. LSU I'm kind of confused about, although I do think they have the athletes, and I like Brian Kelly. I just don't know about their quarterback, but we'll see. Tennessee I know is extremely strong offense. But you don't play a Tennessee against this defense because they can get neutralized. So just be careful here. Now, listening on the radio, some guy, well, the spread looks funny, so I'm taking LSU because Tennessee's favored by 3. And I'm like, the spread doesn't look right. What? This has nothing to do with how you pick the game. You just look at Tennessee, LSU, give me the winner. I think it'll be a close game. I have LSU by 7. I think that's what the right spread should have been. It's at LSU. Tennessee's good, but they haven't, they haven't played Kentucky. They haven't played Georgia. They haven't played, I think, did they beat Florida? I don't recall. But they haven't really beaten anybody yet. Now, I know they got a great offense, and I've won a lot of money against Bowling Green the first week and another game week 2 or 3. But they'd be better as a live dog. If LSU is laying 7, then I would take Tennessee in 13. But I don't like Tennessee favored here. But that's how you look at the game. You don't Vegas isn't putting a spread in to get you to bet or not bet or anything. They don't do that. They're not that smart. They just put the statistics down. It's analytic system. What was the word I was going to think? Just analytic world here, where they're just analytical system. So it's look at plug the numbers in, and we come out with Tennessee minus 3. This is why we catch Vegas a lot. So I don't know. Tennessee's fabulous offense. They're the better team, I think, but hard to lay 3 at LSU. I can find a lot of better situations to bet than that. All right, Texas is up to 9. Over under 64.5, down from 65. I would say that Gabriel's not playing if the spread went up to 9 and the under 64.5. With that case, I really like the under in this game because, first of all, Oklahoma, they're okay, but I don't. Texas's quarterback's out. The backup's okay. They're going to run the ball. Texas has a good defense, 20-19 to Alabama. This is an Alabama type of game. Oklahoma, without the quarterback's not going to score a lot. They have a decent defense. I don't see how we get into the 60s in this game. You can't look at Oklahoma. You can't look at the history of the last 5 years and go, this is a high-scoring game. It'll be high-scoring because Oklahoma is now USC. So this is not an explosive Oklahoma team without Gabriel anyway. And Texas has a good defense, as proven against Alabama, and they're going to run the ball with Robinson a lot. So I think this game's in the 30s, 30-20 or something. Something like that. Now we don't know the backup quarterback from Oklahoma. Well, we saw him last week against TCU. A little glimpse. So I can't play this game over, and I actually have it circled under if Gabriel is not out. So I think you can play it under 64. That's 70 points without the starting quarterback. And, Oklahoma has a pretty good defense. Texas, okay offense. They're not 40-point a game offense. So I think this goes to an under. And it looks like Gabriel's out based on the line going to 9. When I check my stats, it says questionable with a head injury. That's the only problem on covers. It gives you the injuries early in the week, but like today, is he playing or not? You can only go by the line, and the line says 9. So the line says that Gabriel's out. If you find he's playing, then tease Oklahoma in 15. So we'll see. Maybe that's a Twitter thing now, but not sure. Mississippi State 10 over Arkansas, 55.5. Ooh, this line really came down. So this tells me Jefferson's out. So if Mississippi State goes to 10, means they're a big favorite, and the over-under went to 55.5. Mississippi State's a good over team. If Jefferson plays, this is a good over. But it looks like he's not playing. He had a concussion or something, and he's listed as questionable. Again, using the line as the information, it's sort of like in the economy. The price is the information. If something goes up or down, tells you what the market's doing. In this case, this is telling me because it's gone to 10, there's no way with Jefferson playing, Mississippi State's 10 points better. They are explosive. They put up 42 on A&M last week, so old Mississippi State looks good. Arkansas without Jefferson, he does so much because he runs and he's a very good thrower. But for the over-under to go from 61 to 55 just shows you it's all Mississippi State today. But be leery. I mean, Arkansas State probably prepared their backup. He probably isn't that bad. How many times have we seen the backup come in and look fine? Now, look at Notre Dame. They're better with their backup than they were with their starter, Pike. But some teams aren't. So it really depends how good this Arkansas backup is, and we don't really know. So we can't make a bet on we can't say, well, Jefferson's out, so the backup on Arkansas stinks. We don't know that. We only know that he's out, and then can we bet it over? This would have been a lock over at 55 with Jefferson playing. So if you find Jefferson playing, bet this game over. If he's not, he may be playing. Then I probably wouldn't play it because Mississippi State can score 42 on A&M. They can score 42 on Arkansas. Their defense isn't that great. Arkansas's. They're an over type of team. So just be leery of that. But I would think their backup can still move the ball. And, this 55, it's so low. I think you can go over. You only got to go over 49. You're going to get 35, 40 points from Mississippi State. You really only need, 49, and you get 40. So you need 10 points from Arkansas. I would think the backup's going to get you that, but we don't know. I mean, if you want to take that risk, you can take the risk, but that's the way to play this. They don't have a defense. That's not changing. Mississippi State can score. That's not changing. And then Arkansas's backup quarterback, we don't know who he is. So that's the only thing. Maybe I'll read my book. I got my preseason book that goes through everything. Sometimes they give you there's a quarterback battle and da-da-da-da-da, and sometimes they don't. But in this case, I'll have to check that. But it looks like Jefferson's out based on the line. Georgia Southern, Georgia State. Georgia State, 2.5, 67. That's exactly where it was, 2.5, 67. This should be a very high-scoring game. Again, Georgia Southern beat Nebraska with 48 and then played App State pretty close in Coastal Carolina, 34-30. Georgia State put up a 40 on Army, so they both can score. It's a rivalry. Look for a high-scoring game here. Akron and Ohio. Ohio's 10-59, and that's about where it was. 10, maybe 11, 10 and a half. So dropped a little bit. Akron's the Z team, terrible defense. Ohio's an over team. They score and give up the 30. So it's hard to bet a Z team over because they don't have offense. So you almost think just take Ohio and lay the 4 as the prudent player because they're going to score. And Akron, they put up 30 points last week, which is surprising, but we'll see. But Ohio doesn't have a defense to stop them. So kind of if you want to bet against the Z team with a good offense, I would say take Ohio here. South Florida, Cincinnati, 27-58.5. Really no movement there. Again, South Florida is terrible. Cincinnati, great defense. Their offense, they're an A team. South Florida's a W. They have a weak offense and a over defense. So I would think Cincinnati, but I've noticed Cincinnati when they're laying a lot, they don't really beat you 50-0 too often. They'll win the game here 31-10 or something like that. So it's a hard pick to just say, oh, Cincinnati's playing a weak South Florida and they'll kill them. They just ball control you and play defense on you. So if they get a few pick sixes, they'll go over. Otherwise, it'll be a tighter game than it should be. Pitt 14.5, 42.5 hasn't moved against VTech. Slovis sucked last week. I wait until see Slovis get better. Georgia 28-49.5. The line went down from 29 to 28. They've had some injuries to the offense, which is fine for me. I'm surprised it's 49.5. It hasn't gone down any, but I'm happy about that. As we know, we like Georgia under almost every game they play. It's now they've been giving up 22 to Kent, 22 to Missouri, but they don't score 50 on you. But in this game, I'll be shocked if Auburn gets over 10. I think Georgia's a little pissed about that. This is a bigger game. Auburn's quarterbacks are injured. I'm sure one of them will play injured because it's Georgia. But again, the game's in Georgia. Look for that. Look for a shutout here. I think they're tired of dicking around with the 22s. So look for a shutout. Liberty and UMass. Where is that? Where did that go? Liberty. Okay. Liberty 24-47, down from 25, and 47 is what it was. So I don't know. UMass is terrible. Liberty's got 2 quarterbacks injured. Are they playing? I don't know, but the line's going down. So I don't know that you can count on a big 40, 50-point Liberty win because of the quarterback issues, but we'll see. Otherwise, they're a good team. UMass, terrible. Z team. Kent and Miami of Ohio. Kent's 5.5, 56.5. Basically where it was, 6.57. I'm not going to mess around for a half point. We love Kent. Over team. They score a lot, not a lot on defense. Miami of Ohio lost their quarterback, so they're more of an under team, they got a weak offense. And what I love about Ken is their balance. They're almost like 210 running and passing. So good luck stopping them. Last week, the running back fumbled 3 times. So hopefully he got that out of his system. Usually when they do that, the next week, they do not fumble at all. I think Kent kind of really puts a licking on Miami of Ohio. Again, a weak offense because they don't have the quarterback. The defense is okay. I think they give up 26-27 instead of the 30, which is the custom in the MAC, and a weak offense, meaning they don't get 300 yards. So if Kent doesn't turn the ball over, they should win this game pretty easily. Utah, UCLA, 3.5, 64.5. That line hasn't really moved. It was 4, it's 3.5. I had UCLA as a home dog against Washington, but this week it's more, I think, of an overplay than it is. You could take UCLA 9.5, but Utah's a stronger team than Washington, and I really like Cameron Rising. So it's really hard with Rising and a balanced offense going against a balanced offense at UCLA. UCLA will be lucky to win this game, but I think with Rising and Thompson Robinson, I think this game goes to 80. I just can't see this game not, just like Washington, UCLA was a 72. I think this is the same. It's 64.5. You go to 58.5. 58.5 is nothing for these type of quarterbacks and offenses. Vanilla. Yeah, well, we went 1-1 yesterday. We hit the Houston over, and then we lost. Vegas got their quarterback hurt, so I lost the quarterback. I lost the game. But this week I found another lock. So I got 3 college locks and 4 pro locks. Really like the pros this week. Starting to make sense to me. Darlene, Buckeyes play in a hole, know what their problem is. They play a whole bunch of cupcakes that anybody comes out any good, that's when they get beaten up. And that's why I like about Notre Dame, they don't play cupcakes. Well, you're kind of contradicting yourself, Darlene, because Ohio State played Notre Dame, and it's Notre Dame's not a cupcake, what you're saying. So Ohio State played them, and they beat them. So I think Ohio State's really pissed off this year. They lost to Michigan. They didn't go to the playoff. Ohio State is a very, very strong team, so I'm not quite sure the cupcake reference, but they beat Notre Dame the first week, and they beat a good Toledo team by 70. Toledo is very good, so they're not. Michigan's playing the cupcakes, Hawaii and all those guys. So I'm not there. Okay, so UCLA, Utah, I just talked about 3.5, 64.5. I prefer the game over with 2 good quarterbacks, Rising and Thompson Robinson. They're both balanced. They both have good running attacks, and they're both A teams. I just think 64, you get 58. I think is 30-28. This should be like the Washington game for UCLA, which was a 72. And I can't imagine with Rising and Thompson Robinson that they don't get into the 40s here, or at least into the 30s, which is so 35-31 is a 66. It's a W. So that's, I think, the worst score. I can't imagine this game being 20-17 with these quarterbacks and the running backs and balanced teams, and they need it. So that's how I would take this game is over. Next week you have Utah, USC. And we'll get a good feel of that, how Utah and UCLA play. How can Utah stop USC, or is that another 100-point game? So this will be interesting. But UCLA's got a better defense than USC, so keep that in mind going forward. Tulane, Eastern Carolina. Tulane is laying 3, 55.5. Now, Tulane's quarterback is going to play questionable. So he hurt his shoulder, but he's questionable, but he's still injured, right? East Carolina, very strong team. I think they're a very live dog today. It's A versus A. So Tulane I have as an A team. East Car I have as an A team. Tease the dog. It's as simple as that. Both teams are balanced offensively. Should be a very 27-24 type of game. Take the dog. Oak State, Texas Tech. 9 and 66.5, down from 9.5 and down from 67. Texas Tech plays high scoring games still. Oak State put up a 36 on Baylor. Who does that? So I really, I think Oak State pounds them, and I think it gets high scoring. I think that's how you got to look at this. Hard to take Texas Tech because they don't have a good defense. We don't want to play weak defensive teams to try to be the dog against an A team like Oak State and Sanders, the very good quarterback. So I think Texas Tech scores a little bit on them. We saw Oak State. Baylor got 26 on them. Central got 44 on them, but they score. So I think that this game is going gets into the 80s probably, or at least the 70s. Let's give Oak State some respect for their defense. I don't think they'll be flat after the Baylor game. It's at home. I think you're more flat to go and play a weak team on the road. You're not interested. But here they got to be. We just beat Baylor. We're not going to lose to Texas Tech. They can score Texas Tech. So I don't see Oak State being flat here. Wisconsin Northwestern, 10.5, 44 for Wisconsin, up from 10. Over, and the under went from 45 to 44. I mean, not much to say. You just bet Wisconsin under every week. You win every week. They have a decent defense. They never have a quarterback. They want to run. Northwestern plays Penn State 17-7 last week. What the hell was that? Northwestern is an under team. They do not score, but they have a good defense. It's a very good under game I see here. Tulsa Navy, Tulsa 646.5. Tulsa also has a quarterback issue here. It looks like he'll play as the line went from 5.5 to 6. The over-under from 45 to 46.5. Roughly. You can probably find lines where it's there. Let's see. So Tulsa 5.5. Navy's been weak this year. Tulsa's been an over. Normally I like over weak. Again, quarterback issues for Tulsa. They got a really good quarterback in Bryn, but he's shaken up. Navy's had their problems. They don't score. They played a good defense against Air Force, but they know the offense. So I would think this would be, I don't know, Tulsa with the quarterback injured. It's a tough game to call, really. Ball State Central, 7.5, 63.5 for Central, 7.5. That line hasn't changed. It's a good over game because it's over team versus over team, but Central's been having issues scoring. They played like Lehigh and it was like, or Cornell or something, and it was like 38-0, but it was like 10-0 at half, and then they finally started moving. I don't know what's with Central. I'm leaving this game alone. It should have been an over game because I love Central. They're a very strong scoring team, but they're not clicking right now. I don't know what the problem is. Toledo, Northern Illinois, Toledo 5.5 and 60. No change in the line there. Northern Illinois got Lombardi injured, but they seem okay. I like Toledo's got the new quarterback, but he throws a lot of interceptions. Toledo's better team, but do you want to play him as a road favorite? Middle Tennessee, UAB 9.5 and 53.5. That line really hasn't changed. UAB is the better team. They're the A team there. Middle Tennessee, I think they're the team that beat Miami. So I don't know. They're getting better. So we'll see. But UAB off of a loss to Rice. So I don't know who they are right now. Duke 3.5, 55 over Georgia Tech. That line, the over went from 54 to 55. 3.5 is about where it was. Georgia Tech's been the Z team. I like Duke here. They're the better team. They should win. Miami, North Carolina. Miami 3.5, 66 hasn't moved. What's going on with my Van Dyke? This should have been a lock over. This should have been the lock of the year over with these two teams. And I can't play it because the coach is fucking up Van Dyke and this whole offense. So I'm at this point, I got to leave it alone. I can't go over on what should be a lock over. Hopefully the coach gets out of the way and lets Van Dyke throw the ball down the field instead of these little short passes that are being intercepted. Ohio State, Michigan State, 27-65, up from 26.5 and from 62 to 65. The weather's fine here. This is in Lansing's an hour away. So there's not going to be rain, or it's a little chilly here, but not. Who cares? It's football. I think Ohio State rolled. Michigan State's got a lot of problems defensively. Lost to Maryland. Got killed by Minnesota. Just killed them. Minnesota had a balanced offense. So does Ohio State. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be that easy, but Ohio State should roll them. Good morning, Williams. How are you today? I mean, it's hard to bet Michigan State here. They're so weak right now. Washington, Arizona State, 13.5, 55.5. That line really hasn't changed. I think the 57, maybe we can call it 56. So a little bit on the under, which I don't understand, and 14. Washington has been scoring a lot. As you saw, they put up 32 on UCLA last week, put up a big number on Michigan State. So this game, I would, I think it's all Washington. Arizona State's kind of weak. An over defense. So Washington should score early and often here. Will it get over? It could. Arizona State can score. They're not an over team, but the over-under is low at 56-50. Washington will get you 40 of it. So you think Arizona State at home will score a little bit. Ole Miss and Vandy, 17-61 for Ole Miss. That line has not moved. Western Kentucky, UTSA. I love UTSA minus 6.5, 72. Frank Harris, great quarterback. Western Kentucky. This will be probably a tease the dog game. Western Kentucky's an A team. They score. UTSA scores. I like the game over, but this is too high at 72. Now it might get to 90 anyway. But it's hard to lay 72 down to 66. It's hard to tease down to 66 and go over, even though it is UTSA and Western Kentucky. And they're both pretty much passing teams. Western Kentucky shows some type of a defense, but I don't think they played a UTSA type of team who can just score. They had Texas pretty close when they played them, and then Texas got a late touchdown or two. But, I don't know. It's just hard to lay 72. But normally this is an over game. App State, Texas State. Where's App State? App State is 1955. That hasn't moved. App State's much the better team, needs the game. Texas State's really kind of an under team. They don't score a lot. They have a decent defense, but App State beat A&M, which now I don't know if that's good or not. And then they gave North Carolina. So they should score on this game. They've lost to James Madison, so they need to win App State. They won't be flat here. James Madison, 11.55.5. That's about what it was, 11.55. James Madison, very strong team, but Ark State, a home dog and an over team. They can score. They have a weak defense, probably an over game, 55. Even though James Madison's got a good defense, the App State game, they killed them. They put up a 40, though, so they'll score. Arkansas State should score a little. You need 49. That's going over for sure. Air Force, Utah State, 10.5, 54.5. That's 10.55. Really hasn't moved. Air Force beat Navy last week. Utah State's a bad, weak team, weak defense. I look for Air Force to run it down their throat and get back, winning by 30 or so. Southern Miss and Troy. Troy is 6.5, 44.5, hasn't moved. Really no comment on this. Troy's an under team. Southern Miss, they gave Miami a little bit of a struggle, and then Miami beat them. I think they got Frank Gore Jr. on the team for that. Oh, it's funny. Emmitt Smith's son plays on Stanford. Well, he's out for the year. He's obviously getting ready for the NFL draft because he's Emmitt Smith's son. I thought that was funny. There was watching USC and Stanford, and Jerry Rice's kid plays for USC, and Emmitt Smith's kid plays for Stanford. It's just funny as hell. So they're in the stands, but they're not together. They're on the other sidelines. UConn, Florida International, UConn 5.5, 46.5. Why is UConn favored in any game? Over under down from 49 to 46. Don't know. They're both Z teams, probably over because that's what Z teams do. They see another Z team and they start scoring, I guess. I don't know. It's you got to be crazy to bet this game. And you got to be crazy to bet UConn is a road favorite. As hard as it is to be a road favorite, yeah, Alabama, Georgia, UConn, I don't think so. UTEP, LTech, LTech 2.5, 52.5 from 3, 53. So that hasn't really moved. LTech's the over team, UTEP's the under team. You know, probably a close game. Probably tease the dog here. New Mexico, Wyoming. Wyoming 3.5 and 37. That line really hasn't moved. Probably this is a good under game. Both offenses are weak. New Mexico, very strong defense and no offense. Wyoming had a strong defense, but it's gone, and they're just a lousy team. I think New Mexico 9.5 is a pretty good bet here. I don't think Wyoming's not a good team. I'm not sure why they're favored. New Mexico just doesn't score. This game will be lucky to get into this will be 14-10. I mean, and that'll be a good one. Vanilla, who is Arkansas State playing? Is the true over you like? Is that the over you like? Arkansas State, they're playing a pretty good team here. Where is it? They're playing. Well, I know I've already talked about them. Ark State. Playing James Madison. Over a 55. James Madison's a really good team, but they're up from Division II, so we don't know much about them, but they did beat App State, so they're really good. Their quarterback's like 14 touchdowns and no interceptions. Is that the over you like? I'm not betting this game over. No, I'm not going to bet against James Madison, but I do think it'll be over. I think James Madison gets, like I said, to the 40s, and Arkansas State theoretically should get into the 20s, but against this defense, I think you got to look at the James Madison App State game and see what that score was and see what App State did. But I don't think 49 is a big number with an Arkansas State team who scores. So that's your answer. But I've got a lot of better overs and unders that I'm playing today. All right. So we were talking Wyoming, New Mexico, definitely an under. Clemson, 20.5, 48.5 to BC. That number hasn't moved. I think Clemson kills them today. They're the A team, and they're scoring. Last year they didn't score, and they played good defense. This year they played decent defense, although against Wake Forest, Hartman lit them up. It just shows you a good quarterback can, score. Usually a good defense. Lawrence Taylor will stop Montana, but if you have a Montana against a good defense, but not a Lawrence Taylor, he can still beat you. Well, like in the Super Bowl, he put up a 50 on Denver. Denver had a good defense, but he lit them apart. So it's, mostly the defense will beat the offense. But when you get a guy like Hartman, Montana, they can come through, but generally no. Here, I don't think BC – well, they got an over defense. I think Clemson kills them. I think they just put up a big number, and BC's been lousy all year. So, I can't go over because BC, I'm not sure is going to give me any points. But Clemson will probably get into the 40s. So I think it's a Clemson win. And over 48.5 down to 42 is probably an over, but I don't know BC is going to score or not. So I think Clemson's the best way to play it. Kentucky, South Carolina. Kentucky is 6 and 46.5. That's down from 10. I wonder. I didn't see an injury to Kentucky, so maybe a South Carolina guy's back, but I hate Radler. He's terrible. He's got like 4 touchdowns and 8 picks. I like Kentucky here, unless the quarterback's out. This is a joke. Kentucky even against South Carolina. I locked Arkansas even against South Carolina at home, and Arkansas beat them by 20. I look if nobody's injured, then take Kentucky. I'll tell you what. As soon as I'm done with this, I'll check to see if there's an injury on Kentucky. Oh yeah, the quarterback. Yeah. Levis is questionable. He must be out, and if he's out, I can't take Kentucky. Then it probably goes to an under. The over-under of 46.5. Then it probably is an under, but you don't know. Kentucky's backup quarterback could be good, so he probably is. So that's what it is. The Kentucky quarterback must be out because the spread dropped from 10. Army Wake 16.5, 65.5. That's where it was. Wake beat them 70-45 last year. The over is 65. Are you kidding me? 66. There's no way I'm betting this game over. Army is an over team. They got a weak defense. I think Wake just kills them. I think they put up a 50 on them because of Hartman. I don't see what's going to happen here. So I do like Wake just to blow them out. Kansas State, Iowa State. This spread, I think, is down. K-State down from 2-1. They're laying one over under 45. I think it was 45.5. This game, the only way I think you can play it is to go under. This is two under teams. K-State runs the ball, but Iowa State, they held Kansas to 14, and people are like, well, look at Kansas. 14 on Iowa State's a good number. Iowa only got 7 on them. Iowa State always has a very strong defense, and Kansas State has a strong defense also, and they run the ball. So this is Army Navy here. This is going to be K-State running into a brick wall. Iowa State doesn't score a lot. This is definitely a good under here. 45 under 50 with Iowa State, definitely. This is sort of like going Iowa under 50. Washington State SC 12.5, down from 13, 65. I'm calling the upset here. I'm calling Washington State to win. Strong quarterback. Now that I've watched them, great defense, very strong defense. We saw what USC had all kinds of trouble with Oregon State's defense. They just blitzed them. Washington State's better at it. Washington State with the strong defense. I wouldn't touch over 66, but Washington State can score. It took Oregon all they wanted to beat them in that game, 44-41. But Washington State, I think, is the better team here. I know they have the better defense, and I think their offense is very good. USC's offense, it's okay. It looks good, but I think Washington State will give them all they want, and I think they can win the game or at least be within a touchdown. So I like Washington State here. Iowa, Illinois laying 4, up from 3. Over under 36.5 from 37. This is under all the way. As I just spoke about Iowa State, Iowa can't score, but they won't let you score. So this is going to be under. Illinois is an under. Wisconsin got 7 on them. The first team to 14 wins, and I don't even know if they're going to get there. Iowa, just no. They held Michigan to 20. Really, the last touchdown was they went for it on 4th and 20 at their own 20, and then Michigan ran and broke a tackle and scored when they should have been taking a knee and ending the game at 20-7. So Michigan only got 20 on them. How the hell is Illinois going to get 20 on them? So this is a very low-scoring game. It's a little bit under. I don't know. I've been debating about betting this game under. I haven't bet it yet, but maybe I'm talking myself into the under here. 43. It's very low. I hate going 37 and betting it under, but in this situation, this game won't hit. Maybe 25. I mean, if you get 17-10, I think it'll be a high-scoring game for this one. Notre Dame, BYU. Notre Dame is 4, up from 3.5, down from 4, back to 4. And BYU and 51.5. Since they've switched back to Pine, who was the quarterback last year in the mop-up role, when the quarterback got hurt, they went to Pine, and he was okay. This year, he's 6 touchdowns, 1 pick. He's much better. That experience helped, and they've been playing better with him. The defense has been there. They're an under team. They held Ohio State pretty good, and they got the great tight end, Notre Dame. BYU, I don't know. They look good. They beat Baylor, then they go to Oregon and get the shit beat out of them. Then they go play Utah State, and the backup quarterback lights them up, and they barely win that. They win by 10. I think the game's in Vegas, so it's not in Notre Dame, but it's not at BYU. It's a neutral game. Why the hell these religious schools are going to Vegas to play a game? Obviously for the money, but it's going to be really funny there. I like Notre Dame to win. I don't know. I mean, BYU normally plays well in this type of game as the dog, but right now I'm just gonna say let's take Notre Dame in the game. Over under. Notre Dame's an under team. BYU is now an over team, so probably over 45, I would say. But this is a tough game. Florida State, NC State. NC State 3.5, 50.5. That hasn't changed. NC State's the better team, coming off a loss to Clemson. Florida State looked like crap against Wake. Couldn't score. Both teams. Florida State went from an A to a B because of that loss. Both teams have good defenses, but NC State's got the better quarterback, apparently. No, I can't let emotion. I got to leave it at the door. So I can't get mad at Florida State for losing my only lock last week and causing me 2 16 teasers. But NC State's they're at home, the better team, and they're only laying 3.5, so you get 2.5. So it's really hard to not like NC State in this game. Coastal Carolina, 12.5, 58. To Louisiana, Monroe. As we know, Coastal Carolina is Scott McCall, great quarterback, top round quarterback. Lou Monroe's a Z team, over defense. Coastal Carolina's got an over defense, but Lou Monroe is at a weak offense. They're not going to take advantage of it, but McCall should have a field day. 12.5, so you only have to lay less than a touchdown. Take Coastal Carolina all day in this one. A&M, Alabama, 24-48, 24-52. The overs dropped from 52 to 48. I still have it's a tough game because we know how strong A&M's defense is. They hold Miami to 9. They held Arkansas to 22, which should have been 21, but it should have been 28 because the guy fumbles at the goal line. And they run it back. Then Mississippi State kills them. Now, the problem with Alabama is the quarterback. He's questionable. And judging by this 48, he's not playing. So if he's not playing, you got the backup who looked good last week, not throwing the ball necessarily, but running. And then Alabama is the only team I know that they can run up the middle and the guy goes untouched 70 yards for a touchdown. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Georgia tight end does that too on that come around sweep, and he goes and nobody, and he's really fast, and he just goes all the way too. But Alabama, we know, scores and scores and scores. A&M, their quarterback sucks. They got a great running back, but he fumbled a couple times last week versus Mississippi State. I mean, Alabama should kill them. Even with the backup, we know it's a system. So me and you could go and play quarterback for Alabama, throw for 300 yards, and put up a 50. That's the system. It's just the receivers all run down, you throw it, they're wide open. I mean, there's some good scheme at the defense, unless it's a Georgia defense, maybe a Clemson, Ohio State can't figure out, and you need to match it up. A&M, do they have the defense? Again, Arkansas put up a 21 on them. Didn't really have that much problem moving. App State beat them 17-14. And then Mississippi State kills them. I just think, and it's revenge. Alabama's going to kill them. You got revenge. I don't care if Saban quarterbacks. You don't revenge. They're going to revenge. Oregon 13.5, 70 with Arizona. That line moved up from 12.5 to 13.5. Oregon, after the Georgia game, is showing huge offense with Bo Nix, putting up a 44 on Washington State, who's got a very good defense. They lit up somebody last week. Oregon's real. They score a lot. Now, Arizona's got the Luka, Washington State quarterback. They score a lot, too. This game should go over. Now it's 70, and I got to go over 64. And I think that's the max. 72 in the UTSA game is a little bit much for me, but 70 to 64, I think I can do. I think Arizona scores 20, and Oregon puts up their 50, so I think they get to 70 without the teaser, maybe 80. This could be a very high-scoring game. It should be. Fresno State, Boise. Boise 7.5, 45.5. Looks like the over/under went down from 48 to 45, and then 7.5. Fresno State's quarterback Hayner, number one draft pick, is out. He broke his ankle, it looks like, or it's injured. He was questionable, but now he's just out, not playing. I doubt he'll come back. Boise's been terrible, an under team. Fresno lost to freaking Connecticut, putting up 10 points or 14. This has got to be an under game. 45.5 showing you it's an under game. Boise can't score. Fresno can't score now, so their backup looked like crap. So I just don't see a lot of points in this game. Hawaii, San Diego State. San Diego State 23.5, up from 21. So there's some movement on it. 49, that's where it's been. Hawaii's terrible. San Diego State's not much better. They're an under team. Hawaii's the Z team. Can you take an under team to score enough to beat the Z team is the question. I will stay far away from this game. I don't. They probably, San Diego State, this is their one game, but I don't know. Oregon State 4.5, 56. This game, okay, so Chase Nolan must be out. The line was 7, goes down to 4.5, but the 56 stayed. Oregon State, as we know, we saw their defense against USC. Outstanding defense. Stanford's an over team. Oregon State, this would normally be an easy over with Chase Nolan. Oregon State can score. They got balance. But now without Chase Nolan, who looks like he's out. So then it makes, maybe you take Stanford in the 10.5, or maybe you go under. The way their defense held USC will probably keep it low scoring there. So those are today's games and line movement. So it looks like Arkansas, the quarterback's out. Alabama looks like their quarterback's out. Oklahoma looks like their quarterback's out. Spread going to 9. So the quarterbacks that are questionable looks like they're not playing. So I was going to bet Arkansas over, forget about it with Jefferson. Too much risk taking the backup. You just don't know what you got in the backup. Because last year, what happened? Miami and Utah both sucked. They go to their backups, Rising and Van Dyke, and they light it up. And that happens too much in college that you don't know the backup quarterback. He'll light you up. He'll kill you, and I'm not going to risk our money on that. There was an injury I wanted to look at. Now I got to remember what it was. The problem I have with covers today, which is all my injuries, is does it update this morning? So if I go to Oregon State and it says Chase Nolan, questionable Saturday with a neck. So he's still questionable, but based on the line, he's not playing. So I think he's out. Let's go to Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, Gabriel, questionable with the head. We assume he's out. And then we go to Arkansas, and we're going to go to, or let's go to Alabama, and Bryce Young, questionable shoulder. So we assume he's not playing because we're going to let the line tell us. And then we go to Arkansas, Jefferson, questionable with the head, but not updated. The only one that was updated today was Chase Nolan, where it actually said Saturday. So then we get into the Tulane and Tulsa quarterbacks, which is where I'm finding they're injured. And unfortunately, let's see, Tulane. All right, Tulane's quarterback, Pratt, very good one, questionable with the shoulder. Tulsa quarterback, Bren, very good quarterback, questionable with an ankle. So again, these are all, they're questionable. Now, normally I assume questionable is play because if they're not going to play, they're usually doubtful. However, this is where we let the line. Now, the Tulane line and the Tulsa line really didn't move. Tulane's still 3.5. If their quarterback's out, it's probably even. But I took East Carolina anyway because even with the quarterback, I like East Carolina. So I get a bonus. I've already bet it if he's out. Again, Arkansas, you got to go by the line movement. So if you see a funny line movement, and I thought there was one game that we were going to look at. Who were we going to look at? I don't know. There was a real strange line movement. I don't know. I don't remember, but I did want to look at the game. It was Kansas State. Let's look at Kansas State. They went down to 1, but I don't know if it's going to tell us anything. Kansas State, a couple of linebackers, nothing serious. And Iowa State, the line went to Iowa State, so they don't get an injury. Iowa there, so no, I don't see Kentucky. Let's go to Kentucky. Kentucky, yeah, Levis, the quarterback's questionable Saturday, undisclosed. Now this is as of Thursday, but the line going down from 10 to 6 makes it, I assume Levis is out. So you can only assume based on the line, because Vegas is going to hear the news and lower the line without the betting. So the betting, it's not the sharp making the bet. It's Vegas making the adjustment, and that's what you have going. G, good morning, G. Oak State. No, yeah, if we played Oak State, play Oak State. Yeah, I like them over. East Carolina, yeah, that's a good play, 9.5. Yeah, Oak State, as far as I can see, definitely play them. What else? So, anybody want to play a big teaser? I played a 10-team teaser this morning with one of our family and another big ones. And one with G. We got a big one. If anybody wants to do that, the package is $100 for the week. You get everything, college, pro, all the locks, down from $125. Just go to PayPal and pay me on my email. It's in my website, www.teaserking.com. There are now, I've added a lock, which I call out. So I got 3 college locks and 4 pro locks going this week. So you got 7 locks. Should have locked the damn Houston Memphis over. I don't know why I didn't. That easily hit 65. The over-under was 51, which was a joke, and that's why I liked it, because it was only 51. But the ironic part is Houston isn't even scoring. They're down 30-7 or something, and they're down 29-7. And so Memphis scores. They kick off. Houston runs the kickoff back 100 yards, which lights them up, and they score a touchdown with 2 minutes left, a touchdown with 1 minute left to win the game, 33-32, and get the over. Unbelievable. But that's what a kickoff return will do. That's what emotion will do. That's why I hate these guys going for 4th and 2. They're out of their freaking minds, because if they don't get it, they don't understand the emotion and the disrespect they're doing, and it deflates their own team. I mean, they know they lost. Yeah, I mean, didn't we do a 10-teamer? Well, we can do a 10-teamer. Anyway, so those are the lines. The 3 locks are intact, and that's why I watched the highlights. I found a lock looking at a highlight that I go, Jesus Christ, because it wasn't a team that I see a lot, but I know, and I know their coach, and it was, once I saw it, this is a joke. So Texas, Oklahoma, be careful. The line went to 9. You really. I assume the Oklahoma quarterback's out. This probably goes to an under game, depending on how good the Oklahoma backup quarterback is. Again, Arkansas, Mississippi State, our quarterback looks out. The line went to 10. This was going to be a good overs. Now I don't know what to do with it. Mississippi State should light them up. They lit up A&M. They got a very strong offense. They're a good team this year. And Arkansas with the weak defense, and after getting killed by Alabama, and if they don't have their quarterback, they're going to be flat. This is going to be a tough game for Arkansas, I think. And I think that's about it. Any team off a loss, I don't know. Miami, we got to figure out what's going on with Van Dyke. What should have been a lock over against North Carolina is now let's watch it. Maybe take North Carolina, but I can't go over the way Miami's offense is being run by this idiot who wants to run the ball and not let Van Dyke throw the ball down the field. So it could get over, because North Carolina is going to score a lot on them. And that might make Miami score a lot, and then we'll see what happens. That's the only way this game gets over. Good game, Utah, UCLA. Look for a lot of points. Auburn, Georgia, look for a shutout. And Wisconsin, Northwestern, low scoring. That's about it. Any questions, comments? G, if you're serious, send me an email, and I will send you back 10 games. Otherwise, so it's $100 for the week, down from $1.25, $300 for the month, which gets you 4 weeks, which is theoretically $75 for the week. And in those packages, you always get all the locks and everything, or you can just buy the locks. Okay, G, we got time. It's 11:15. I'll send it back to you. That's about it. So tomorrow we'll do the pros, line movements. Again, tomorrow we've got Green Bay laying 7 in London. Probably like Green Bay down to 1 there. Just checking the pros, anything. So we'll talk pros tomorrow. But actually, it's Daniel Jones starting for the Giants. Tyrod Taylor has a concussion and is out. So Jones, even though he's hurt, is going to be the quarterback. And really, he's not a good one, but he likes to run, which I don't think he'll be able to do with his injury, but he'll probably do it anyway. So you're not getting Tyrod Taylor for the Giants, just an FYI. You are getting Dalton, you are getting Zappe, you are getting Pickett, and you are getting Bridgewater. Those are that. But we'll talk pros tomorrow. Again, but the Green Bay game. So if you want to bet the night game, like Oregon over, and you're looking for a companion, you can take it with Green Bay -1 tomorrow. At least they were 7. Darlene, Green Bay is going to win by 14. Well, I'll bet them and tease the 1. That's good. I think they win. Again, it's a little leery because it's London and they got to travel and they get off their schedule. That always makes it a little bit hard. There'll be Green Bay fans because I don't know how many Green Bay fans are traveling to London, but I don't even know how they're going to get people in the stands with all their economic problems. Well, I can't eat and I can't pay my heating bill, but I'm going to go watch Green Bay and the Giants, teams that aren't even British. I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's it. Anything else? I will give you another 2 minutes to ask questions, comments. As I said, it looks, judging by the line, I think we know what quarterbacks are out. So Oklahoma's out, Alabama's out, Arkansas looks like out. I guess Tulsa and Tulane's are playing. That's about it. Look for Washington State to beat USC tonight, or it'll be a very, very close game, I'm thinking. Even around long as I have, people will find money to waste anything. Well, people spend their money the way they want to spend it. And I'm just saying, if I'm worried about my heat and my food, I'm probably not going to a football game. But that's just, because unless they're Green Bay, if the game was in Green Bay, I'd agree with you, Darlene. I'd say, yeah, I mean, they live in Green Bay and they're going to a Green Bay game, but in London. Sean, Georgia Southern scores touchdowns in red zone instead of field goals, they will win. Well, let's just put it this way. They will score a lot. Hey, Andrew, what's going on? What's going on in Canada? I agree with you, Sean, but I think Georgia Southern, I like that game over because Georgia State can score too. The lock, there's no free locks in football. You got to pay for those. Cold? Is the lock cold is what you're saying? Yeah, it's cold here too. It's like in the 40s, 50s. But, yeah, and that's what you look for. That's why sometimes you got to look at all four scenarios because the over or under might be the better way to play the game than the team. And that's absolutely the way to look at it. But I like Georgia Southern, but can I trust them? Georgia State just put up 41 on Army. So it almost leads you to Wake Forest because then you say, well, wait a minute. If Georgia State put 41 up on Army, what's Hartman going to do? He's going to really light it up. Now they're laying 17. So you lay 11 at home. They put up a 70 on them last year. So, yeah, it could be baseball. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. It's football for me right now, so I don't. But I hope they win, or the Maple Leafs maybe. Coastal, yeah. Well, I already mentioned Coastal. He's very good. That's why I laugh when these announcers, try to tell you how good Bryce Young is from Alabama, and I'm like, you guys. What do you think? Because only the Alabama quarterback or the Ohio State quarterback can win the Heisman with the systems, and look how bad they are in the pros. Jays lock. Well, go ahead and bet the Jays. No baseball here, just football right now. Do the DraftKings anybody? I don't want anybody out there. Don't listen to anybody on the phone and call me up because just get that app. For every $5 you bet, you went to 200. I advise against the DraftKings and all those apps because of the odds. So you got to look, what are they like? BetMGM, I would highly recommend not using any MGM because their odds are 13-10 on a teaser. And there's no way you should be playing more than 11-10 on a teaser. So 110 to win 100, it's a teaser, and they're 13. DraftKings, I don't know, but I'm not going to recommend that until I see the odds. So right now, I think William Hill has the best odds, and that's what I would go to. Let's see what else. So I think that's it. It's 11:30. Game start at a half hour. So if you get knocked off early and you want to come to a night game, there's the Oregon-Arizona game. Coastal Carolina, Notre Dame, USC, I don't know what time that is. Iowa, Illinois looks like a night game. By the way, when is your next week investing class video? You want Will you want another economics video? I mean, I can do that maybe Monday after I do college. If you have a specific question, I could answer it now, or just send me an email and I could respond in the email. Interesting. We'll take a sidebar real quick. Bitcoin and gold. And one of the guys showed his friend my video on economics. He said he didn't like it because I didn't like Bitcoin. And I said, well, that doesn't mean I don't know economics. It just means I understand Bitcoin. And the way you look at Bitcoin, I've been thinking, is it's like a baseball card. Is a Tom Brady rookie card money? No, it's an investment. The market has a price for it. So if it's worth 20 grand because it's a Tom Brady PSA 10 rookie card, that's not money, but it's an investment. And I think that's what Bitcoin is. It's not money. I can't go to the grocery store with it. Just like I can't go to the grocery store with Tom Brady, I can go to the grocery store with gold and silver. I went to restaurants with silver and they've taken it. So that is fine. Would they take a Tom Brady rookie card? Well, if it's 10 grand and you're eating a $30 meal, you probably don't want to give them the Tom Brady card. So in that case, it's not money. So that's my closest scenario to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a pyramid scheme, but it has a value because people deemed it a value as the same value as people deeming a value to a Tom Brady rookie card. So you can sell it for 20 grand on eBay because there's a market for it, just like you can sell Bitcoin. The problem is you can't even go on Bitcoin and sell on eBay and sell Bitcoin, and there's no store. So you can only sell it if, I guess, you can sell it. And then what are you going to get for it? And how do you get the money? This part I don't know, but I know if I go on eBay and I sell a Tom Brady, I get PayPal'd in my account. I see it. Okay, here's your card. So then I walk to the bank with the money and take the bank. So I think that's what Bitcoin really is. It's not money. It's certainly not gold or silver. People that think that are just scamming you and trying to make you think it's gold. But if it's as good as gold, then buy gold. Buy the real McCoy. It's like if I'm telling you to bet Ohio State, don't bet Arkansas State, bet Ohio State. I mean, if you want the real deal, bet the real deal. So just to sidebar that's how I view Bitcoin. It's not real. It's certainly not money, and it's certainly not gold. And people telling you that want you to buy it because they want it to go up so they can make money. But that one guy, Saylor, is a freaking idiot. He has no clue what he's doing. And how are you going to make money in it? And but gold and silver is going to go through the roof. So I guarantee you, not only are you going to save your US dollars, but you're going to get the double kick on gold and silver going up. It's being pushed down on purpose, not by the market. The market isn't selling gold. Nobody in their right mind is selling gold at this price. They're waiting for it to go way up. So therefore, it's a $20,000-$30,000 an ounce thing, gold. Why would you sell it for $1,800? It doesn't make sense. So that's what's happening. But Bitcoin's not correlated to the economy. It's just based on, do I want a Bitcoin? It's not limited. I'd rather have a Tom Brady rookie card. I got one that's, I think, 156 or 370. That's what it's numbered. So that's limited. And it's Tom Brady. More people want that than want Bitcoin. Is an ounce of silver currently under 1,000? Yeah, it's at, you can go get it I got a Buffalo, which is 1 ounce silver I can get for $4 over, which is about 25. The Eagle, the American Eagle, which they're not making because the mint's so stupid they didn't buy enough, is 35 an ounce. So I'm going to go buy after another 20, 30 ounces. I really want more gold because that's really going to go through the roof. I've got a lot, and it's $1,800 to buy it, or maybe a little bit more. So it's hard to buy too many ounces. But silver's such a no-brainer. I mean, you buy 10 ounces for $250. It's nothing. I mean, it's not even a risk because it's not going to go down. It's only going to go up. how do we check for prices of silver and gold? Where can we check? There's a site called, if you Google gold prices, there's a site that's I think it's just called Gold Price. Let me see. Or you can ask me, but I mean, just go online. Come on. So I Google gold price today, and then up pops the gold prices. And then I go to this one, which is called Gold Price right there. And then just go into it. And then it gives you, there's the gold price. Again, this is not real. This is derivative paper gold being kept down on purpose because the U.S. wants you in U.S. dollars, not in gold. And then here's the silver price. So I'm going to go buy 25 ounces at $24 an ounce. So that's the site, and that's, you can check it. And it's active all the time, I think. And it's the same as if you went to Russia or Europe or Canada, it's always priced in US dollars. And that's what they're getting away from. The whole Russian and China and the BRICS countries want it priced in their in any currency. So they've come out with $1, a ruble or yuan or whatever, backed by gold and silver. And they're saying to the US, screw you. Nobody wants the US dollar. And when nobody wants you, the only reason it has value, because it's not backed by gold, is trust in the government. Who trusts the U.S. government? Nobody. So the dollar is going to lose trust. And as soon as that happens, it goes to zero. It will happen, especially with the competition coming out with $1 backed by gold. Wouldn't you want $1 backed by gold versus $1 that's a paper not backed by anything? So it's going to force the U.S. is going to lose value, which is going to make gold go through the roof because that dollar's backed by gold. But then what'll happen is the U.S., the only way they're going to survive is to back their dollar by gold. And when that happens, gold will be probably about 70, 80,000 an ounce. Silver, at least 10,000. Texas lock. So for instance, I can buy 20 ounces of silver for 2,000 from the guy you told us about. No, you can buy it for $20 an ounce. So it'd be 20 ounces at 25. So you'd be paying, well, what's that? 10 to about $500 you can buy it for. It's going to 1,000 an ounce. It's not there yet. So you're able to buy it for $25 an ounce, where it's going to be $2,000 an ounce. So it's a no-brainer. It's you're buying something that they're repressing on purpose that isn't real because it's paper. It's being held down by the derivatives, by JP Morgan, because the US doesn't want you in gold and silver. It wants you in US dollars. But if you just clear your head and take a look and realize it's printed to death, if you print too much of anything, it loses value. The value is dropping. And these other competition in Russia, China are coming out with $1 backed by gold. What do you want? You're going to want the dollar backed by gold because you know gold always has a value. So that's all going to go up. It's going to 2,000, but you can get it for 25 right now. That's the whole point. That's why I'm screaming, go buy it. A, while it's this cheap, and B, before you can't find it. There's going to be a time soon. You're going to go to the store. It's not going to be there, and it's not going to be 25 an ounce anymore. All of a sudden, it's going to go boom. So when you hear bank holiday or China, Russia announce that they have 20,000 ounces, 20,000 tons of gold, or Saudi Arabia announced that we're not selling oil to anybody. When you hear any of those three things, you have to run to this. It's the banking holiday will happen on Friday, and Monday you won't be able to get your money out of the bank, and gold and silver will go through the roof. And it's already there, and everybody all the central banks are buying gold and silver like it's water as much as they can get their hands on. And because it's being held down, you're getting it. It's like buying this Canadian Club for $2. This is a $50 bottle. It's probably $60 now. If I offered it to you for $2 and you like Canadian Club, you'd be buying cases of it. This is ridiculous. $2 a thing. That's what gold and silver is. It's not the real price. Buy it. You can't lose. It's impossible to lose. It's got to go up. There's no other thing. It's absolutely for sure. When do I see it go up more or less next summer? I'm going to say January. By the end of the year, it'll be going up because the U.S. won't be able to suppress it anymore. So keep in mind, it's not at market. Like when I give you the football line, Oregon State 7 over Stanford, that's the market, right? People are bidding Oregon, Stanford, and they come up with 7. Gold and silver are not at market. The free market is not bidding it. If the free market's bidding it, and that's what I'm saying, silver's 2,000 an ounce, but they're not. It's suppressed. It's fixed. They're going to break the fix. JP Morgan and the government's been fixing it, and that's ended. It's exploded. It's done. It's blown up. They can't do it anymore. Now the market's going to get it. And when the market's going to get it, it'll go up to its normal price. And the reason it's going to blow up is China and this whole Russia going on sanctions are pissed off, got their own money backed by gold, which is going to force the price up, which is going to explode the COMEX paper bullshit. So keep in mind when you watch these idiots on TV, on YouTube, they're always talking paper, not physical. The physical is what you want, you need. You cannot own ETFs. You do not own IRAs. All you own, you've got to own the coins or the bars. You got to own gold and silver. My friend at work just bought $100,000 of gold, 55 ounces per me. I walked him to the store. I held his hand. I went to the owner. He's got 100 grand. He got 55 ounces. That's how sure I am. The guy loves me. I mean, he's not. He can't lose. He's going to retire. I'm going to retire. You're going to retire. As soon as the thing hits I'll still do this. Don't worry. And this is fun, but I will not, this is that. Now, vanilla, there's no exact time. It's whenever it happens. I'm giving you the black swan events to listen to. The bank holiday, the Russia and China saying how many ounces, how many tons they have. We don't have any in the U.S. or Canada or Britain. They've sold it all because they don't believe in it. They believe in Keynesian, which is what I did my show on. Keynes is a socialist, believes in government runs everything. Austrians believe the market runs everything. We've proven that the market running everything is the proper way for an economy to run, not the socialistic way, which is what the U.S. is trying to do now, which is what Russia's done with communism. It doesn't work. You need the market should be the one in charge, which is us. That's what we get out of it. Sad, my uncle's IRA has lost 120 in stocks over the last 2 years. Get them out. Anybody listening, do not just sell all your stock now and run and buy gold and silver. It's the best move you can make. I have lost zero in the stock market because you know what? If you go back to my older videos, probably a year ago, I sold all my stock. I do not own a share of stock. It's all coming down. People will need the money and they're going to sell their stock. Plus the companies aren't going to have earnings. In a depression, they're going to, the prices are going up. They can't pass it on to the customer. You're not going to pay $20 for Coca-Cola or hamburger or whatever. You're going to buy what you can afford. So the companies will not make money. You're not running out and buying a Toyota now or a Ford or anything unless you're very rich and you want to get a Mercedes. But the most of us, I'm not buying a car now and paying 6-7% interest rates on my Camry I just paid off. 24,000 is now 30. 24 was enough. I'm not paying 30. I'll hold on to my car. Thank you very much. It's all paid off. So that's why all the companies are going to not be profitable. Plus, people needing the money are going to sell. Anybody on margin is going to get their ass kicked and never go on margin with stocks. But get out of the fucking market. It is going down really low, and just avoid it. Just buy gold and silver. Go buy silver 25 an ounce and say thank you, and just buy as many ounces as you can. It's a joke. It's a $2,000 to $5,000 thing soon. You just got to wait. It's not a stock. So you got to understand it doesn't jump like that. It's money. You're buying money. And the kick is because the US dollar, the value of the dollar drops, makes assets go up because it takes more dollars to buy the gallon of gas, the steak, the gold, the silver, the painting, the Brady card, the Mantle card. All those are assets go up because it takes more money to buy them. It's as simple as that. They're really not going up. Coca-Cola is now what, $2.99 for a 2-liter. They haven't raised the price. It's the dollar has dropped, so it takes more dollars to buy the same good. That's all it is. That's what inflation is. You've screwed the dollar. It takes more to buy. Eventually, people get turned off by it. Nobody wants it anymore. The people here just don't get it. They haven't been taught. In America, you get out, you go to silver and gold. The Russians understand it. The Chinese understand it. The Indians understand it. The Saudis understand it. Only the people in the U.S. and Canada just don't seem to understand that gold and silver is your protection. It's your safety. It's you're going to get rich off of it, but they don't want to. They want to be in Bitcoin and stocks. Get the hell out of stocks. You don't want to be in a CD or a 10-year bond making 3% when inflation's about 15. So keep that in mind. Do not trust the government. We all know how honest they are. So basically, your way out is gold and silver, and you can get it so cheap right now, and it isn't going to stay there. They are pulling it. They are pulling millions of ounces. Let me show you this. I showed you in another video, but I'm going to be nice and show you here. No, I don't want that. I want that. I'm going to show you this article. Now, where is it? Come on. Hold on. There's a company that bought $500,000 worth of gold, 500,000 ounces of it. I just got to find it. Well, yeah, let me look for it. Anyway, I'll find it and I'll show you tomorrow. Here it is. I don't know if you can see this. I will read this to you. What it says is Planetaire bought $50 million in gold bars in August. So you ask yourself, why would a company like Palantir buy 50 million gold bars? That is almost 12 TK. Oh, Okay. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go give G her 10 teams. Well, I can always give you afternoon games, G. But let me do that. So anyway, there's the proof, 50 million. So let's go bet the games. G, I will do it right now. Thank you very much. www.teaserking.com. We got 7 locks going. You can get the whole package this week for $100, including the locks. www.teaserking.com. Get my email, ask me questions or comments. Okay, thank you. All right, G, comment.